Hey, what's up? Ryan here, and today I'm going to continue to talk about employer branding. And just today we're going to talk about distribution. It's crazy important, and it's a lot more than just checking the box in your ATS system. So make sure that you watch this whole thing, and while you're at it, hit subscribe. Subscribe to this channel. Okay, so let's go back to where we're at. Four-part process to how you actually build a powerful employer brand and recruitment marketing engine. Step number one, know your persona, know who your target reader is. Step number two, create content that they will want to consume. Step number three is distribution. Step number four is call to action. So let's talk about distribution. Now, normally, human resource professionals log into their ATS system, they post their job ad, probably the same boring one they've used forever. They post in there, they leave it open for a long period of time, and then they wonder why they don't get very many applicants. And they push it out to job boards, their career site. They share it with friends and family. Hopefully they have an employee referral program. All that kind of stuff is the normal distribution. Now, let's talk about this just for a little bit because it's actually, we're being too simplistic with our approach. What we need to do is think about each of those areas where we might distribute the content and take a much more mature or sophisticated approach to it. We want to think about job boards in a different way than we think about our career site. We want to think about our career site in a different way than we think about our employee referral. Now that might not be possible as far as from a job ad, meaning that we wrote just one job ad. But when you think about each of those areas and you go walk through how that's going to show up for them, it means that you need to think through like, well, what will be pushed out and what matters to that source, right? What matters to the job boards is keywords. It matters to the job boards that it's connected to my right employer profile. It matters to the job boards that that job also has an employer profile connected to it that has been claimed by the employer, has a logo, has content, has reviews. That matters to the job boards. Now, that doesn't matter as much to, say, ZipRecruiter compared to Indeed and Glassdoor. And it matters differently to LinkedIn than it matters to those others. And it doesn't matter in the same way to all those other job board sources. Now, when we think about our career site and we post our job there, well, this matters differently, right? The job seeker who walks through the career site is having a different experience. Therefore, we have to think through the way that we post that job out there and make sure it's going to connect to the right people at the right time, right? Now, one of the most overlooked pieces of distribution of those job ads, though, is to our past applicants. Clearly, I love Refer and I love sending emails to past applicants. And the fact of the matter is that it's one of the most overlooked pieces of distribution. So when we think about how we can distribute this ad, so we just wrote this amazing ad, and along with it, we have our employer value proposition content. We sent it out to the job boards and we can check all those off. Clearly, we could pay more to sponsor it. Now, number two, it's on our career site, which is awesome. And hopefully you have other content besides just job ads on your career site. Maybe you sent it out to your local college. Maybe you posted it on a Facebook group. Maybe you posted it, gave it to your employees for them to share, etc. But emailing is something that most organizations don't do very much of or aren't even thinking about. And so it's actually one of my specialties. It's literally what I'm one of the best in the world at. And so we have a little widget for Refer that job seekers sign up to receive job alerts. These could be job seekers who happen to randomly land on your career site. They could be past applicants that said, yes, send me jobs in the future when they were applying. Both of those go into a big giant pod. You could also just go look at your past applicant tracking database. Go grab the last 3 to 5 years worth of people. This is your new email marketing subscriber base of people to target, right? And while you might say, wait a minute, some of them we hired, great, delete those people. And you might say, wait a minute, some of them we would never hire. Awesome, delete those people. But what you're going to find is out of this big pot, at least around 80% of them are not heck no's and not we already hired you and said heck yes. They're just everybody else. Maybe they're just weren't right at that time, right? And so at the time that they applied, they just weren't right. It could be that they didn't have quite enough experience. It could be that compared to the other person you hired, they just weren't the best of the best. It could be that they wanted a different location. It could be that they weren't ready, whatever the case may be. But this 80% is sitting there in your database. And you're just kind of crossing your fingers that the next time you post a job, that Indeed or ZipRecruiter reaches out to them or LinkedIn and sends them an email and brings them back to you, which does happen. It happens a lot. But what if you proactively manage that distribution? What if you said, wait a second, I'm not going to leave it up to Indeed and ZipRecruiter and LinkedIn. I'm going to take this big database of people and start building a relationship with them. That's the secret right there. You see, we went to all that work to identify our persona. We went to all that work to create a great job ad. Now we're going to have to create some additional content beyond just the job ad to send out with our job alerts that talks about why we're a great place to work and our core values and our culture and our work environment and work experience and what we do in the community and what our products and services are all about and et cetera, stories of our employees. All that amazing content needs to be put on your career site. But if you just put it there, the job seekers coming from the job board will never see it. That's the real secret here, is that generally speaking, all that content on your career site, nobody's going to see unless we send emails that point to it. And that's where distribution of your job ads via job alerts gives you the ability to also distribute content about your stuff that's on your career site and drive job seekers back into it, both when they're actively engaged in the hiring process as well as when they're passively engaged with you because they signed up for alerts or they were an applicant to a job they didn't get hired for, but they want to come back around. That right there, that distribution portion is the most important because it's something that requires proactive action on the part of HR. The job boards, probably Applicant Pro or your ATS is automating that. So it's kind of like set it and forget it. And clearly paid distribution, those people won't let you forget it. They're going to come chase you down and ask you for money. And the college or your career site probably is happening on its own. Hopefully your employer referrals is happening on their own, but it's this one thing that if we don't do it, we're overlooking a huge potential impact. Right now, Refer for the average client is showing that we're influencing, meaning we're emailing before they come from the job board, 20, 30, even up to 40% of all of their hires. You see, once you build that database and you start engaging with them consistently, you're building your name recognition so that when they go to Indeed, they notice it and go, oh, I remember this company. They send me emails. Now, if we embed in it even better content, we're not just going to get name recognition, but reputation. Seeing our name is going to connect to something we told them about our core values, about our benefits and perks, about what it's like to work for us. And that right there is the end goal of employer branding. It really is. While the pure ROI comes from them actually calling to act, but that idea of this initial thrust of, do people recognize our name when they see it? Check. They see it on the job boards. We're sending out job alerts. That's check one. Check two is, do they recognize it as standing for something? The reputation of our employer value proposition and sending those emails out. Check. The third check will be, does it inspire them to act? And that's will be in our next video. But thanks so much for watching today. Again, if you have questions about this, shoot me an email. Hey, Ryan@Refer.io. My guess is that this is one of those things that you have been overlooking forever, that you are not sending emails other than rejection emails out to your big database of past applicants. That if you have Refer running from a job alert standpoint, it's just sending out job alerts. Or if you have job alerts from your ATS, same thing. It's just sending out a notification, hey, we've got a job. It's not actually sending out content about your brand, about why they should want to work for you as a company. At Refer, we've got some cool upgrades coming for that, so hit us up. But if you want some help with this idea of how do we build a brand within our database of past applicants, let me know. I'd love to chat. Otherwise, we'll talk to you again soon. Hey, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Throw me a content. If you think I'm crazy, give me a content. If you love what you're hearing, give me a content. If you have a question, go ahead and throw a piece of comment in there. I read all of them, so I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, we'll talk to you again soon.